this video I'm going to explain how MJML works and how you can get started using it today. Before we get into MJML, I want to thank you guys all for the support on the last video. This means a lot to me. If you have any suggestions or video ideas, make sure to leave them in the comments down below. As always, all the links to resources used in this video will be in the description of the video. Well, first things first, what does MJML actually mean? Well, it stands for Mailjet Markup Language. It's been created and designed by the guys over at Mailjet to reduce the pain of coding responsive HTML emails. Using MJML semantic syntax and the rich component library, making your HTML emails responsive is a thing of the past because this does it for you. The way MJML works is that it functions as an abstraction layer. This abstraction layer helps you keep your code clear and clean. And maybe the biggest benefit, in my opinion, is that you don't have to write that many lines of code. So instead of talking about it, let's actually check out how it works. So to show you how MJML actually works, I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to first off set the syntax to MJML. I'm going to create the MJML tag and the MJ body tag. We're going to save it. Let's remove this file real quick, call it index. And save it to our file. Now we're gonna quickly convert this file. So let's open up our CMD and let's navigate to the file folder. When we're in the correct folder, we're gonna target the MJML file, index.mjml, and we're gonna output it into a index.html. Now let's check our folder. And as you can see, we got our index.mjml file and our HTML document. Now let's put the HTML document in our Visual Studio. And we can say it already converted some stuff. Gonna split the editor. So we will have our index.html file here and our MJML file here. Now to get a better visual idea of what we're doing and how MJML works, we're gonna use this handy command called watch. So MJML watch index.mjml, and then the outputted file is the index.html. Enter. As you can see, it's now watching our index.mjml file. So now we're watching the file. We're gonna enter a MJ section and we're gonna see what it does. So let's save this. And as you can see, it enters all the HTML needed to create a section for us. Now, if we would create a MJ column inside, which is typically what we would do when we're creating a new section, we're gonna save this. And as you can see, a lot of things happen. So first thing, we see a new style. It's adding styles for the columns. So as you can see, MJ column per 100, that's all the HTML styles that it adds for us and which we don't have to worry about because we're using MJML. So if we look at the code a bit, we can see this is our body. This basically functions as the MJ body tag. And then we have a div that's kind of like the wrapper for the whole document. Then if we go one div down, this should be the section, the MJ section. And in that section is a table, table body, table row, table data. And in the table data of the section is another div, which is our column. And in that div is another table with a table body. So if we would input in this column some text, some MJ text, and we're just gonna say hello world. We save this. As you can see, in the table body of the column div, it adds a new table row, a new table data with another div inside that says hello world. And as you can see, we did 11 lines of code and it outputted for us 114 lines of code. Now let's see how MJML functions when we try to add custom classes. So first off, we're gonna create our head. I'm gonna give this a tab, MJ attributes and MJ class. We're gonna give this class a name of big text. And we're gonna give the big text a font size of 50 pixels. Now, when we're gonna save this, nothing is gonna change here. And the styles are not gonna be added because we're not using them, which is good. We don't want unnecessary code in our files. But if we add this MJ class to a text, to this text block here, and we call it MJ text, we scroll down here in our HTML document. As you can see here, these are the standard font families and font sizes MJML applies to text. So let's actually see what it does when we apply this class, which should change the font size. Let's save it. As you can see, it changed the inline style to 50 pixels. How the MJ classes work is that they add the styles you input inline, which is a good thing because before we normally send our emails, we always inline all of our CSS. Now that you know how MJML works, let's get into the installation process. Well, actually, you don't have to install anything because you can just simply use the online editor. Just kidding. You can use the online editor if you want, but I recommend you only use it when you practice MJML a bit. So you have a couple of options. Let's see option 1. Option 1 is using the MJML app. The MJML app is an app created by the MJML community and is downloadable via their site. I tried it out and found it actually works pretty well. It functions the same as the online editor because it has the code on the one side and the view on the other side. But I did come along a couple of annoying bugs when I was using it. For example, let's take a look at this tab bug I found. I was trying to space out my stuff, and when I go stand right behind the tag and I press tab, it works like this. But sometimes it does this weird space thing instead of actually tabbing my tag, which I found quite annoying. This was working on my nerves pretty fast, so I decided to switch over to my favorite text editor, Visual Studio Code. Besides Visual Studio Code, you can also use Atom or Sublime Text 3 as a text editor. Before you can use your text editor to actually create MJML files though, we have to install the MJML engine onto our workstation. First thing you want to do is, if you don't have it already, install Node.js Package Manager or NPM. Installing NPM is quite easy. I've got a website here in front of me. I will put it in the description, obviously. So what you simply do is click the download button here. Click the version you want. I'm gonna go with the current version. Now, when the install is finished, you're gonna open the installer and go through the install. Since I already have it installed, I'm just gonna press change. Otherwise, it just says install. Press a couple times next. I don't want this installed. And then press install. And that's it. Now you got NPM installed. So to check if we installed NPM correctly, we're gonna open our CMD and type in npm v, and it's gonna give us our currently installed version. When it gives you this result or something similar, you know it's installed correctly. Now that we've installed npm, let's install the MJML engine. So open up your command prompt and simply type in npm install g for global MJML. Press enter, wait for a few seconds or a few minutes. And when it's finished, it will give you a similar result as you can see for me. For me, it says changed because I already got it installed, but it should install properly like this. Now that we've installed npm and the MJML engine, the only thing is left to do is install the right plugin for your text editor. So installing the plugin is fairly simple. As you can see here, I'm on the Visual Studio website, the marketplace, and I found the MJML plugin. The only thing you gotta do is press install and it will open on Visual Studio and you've got it installed. I will create links to the plugins in the description down below for Visual Studio Code, but also for Atom and Sublime Text 3. Now if we successfully installed everything, we can finally start creating MJML files. Now all there is to it is to simply go into your favorite text editor, create a new file and set the syntax to MJML. Create the appropriate MJML tags, MJML, MJHead. Let's also do MJBody. Let's space this out properly. Let's say section, column, a width, and a piece of text that says hello world. Now save the file, give it a name. I'm gonna give it index. Now you're ready to start developing your emails. Now if you're done developing your email, simply open up your CMD, use the change directory command to get into your file folder, and then simply convert the document from MJML to HTML. Press enter and it should be converted. Let's check our file folder, and here we have our MJML file and our HTML file. Now before you start sending your email, make sure to always test it on Putsmail and inline your CSS there as well. So quickly open your index file in Visual Studio, copy all the code, head to putsmail.com, press new test, put in your email where you want to receive the test email, put in a subject line, paste all the HTML, press the inliner, do the CAPTCHA and send the email. So if you received your test email and it all looks fine, go to the inliner tool, paste in all your HTML code, inline the CSS, and you want to use this code here for all of your emails. What this tool does is that it inlines all the styles and CSS. You want all styles and CSS to be inlined so that it works and functions and looks properly on most email service providers. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. I will be making more videos soon, and if you have any suggestions or ideas on videos you want me to make, please make sure to leave them down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, peace.